there were some really dark times, some, really not so good or evil stuff happened. So when I was thinking about it, no, I thought I rather want to concentrate on positive energy.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time in the channel, hit subscribe right now.
Doro, thank you so much for your time today. I'm very, very appreciative of the fact that you spent some time in your busy schedule with me. It's great to talk to you again.
And thanks for having me. It's great
anytime.
to talk.
anytime. Whenever we're talking to you, there's always so many places that we can start, and there's so many things to talk about. But let's just maybe start at you had a lot of fun with the Time for Justice video. So tell us a little bit more about that, because I know that you were extremely excited about that one.
Totally. Yeah. I don't know if everybody has seen the video. I think it's killer. It looks like a little Mad Max movie, and I'm a big fan of all these Mad Max movies, especially the last one with Charlize Theron, Fury Road, and I always want to do something like it. And then when we were listening to the whole album, everybody was picking the singles, their favorites. And then we said, okay, let's do Time for Justice because of the nice message. And I think that's so good in this day and age. And then I thought, Time for Justice. And I called these people, they call Wasteland Warriors. I met them in Wacken many, many years ago. Wacken is this big festival in Germany, one of the greatest festivals, always has like 85,000 people. And we were planning our big anniversary shows, actually one in Wacken, which we did in August, and one coming up in Düsseldorf, my former hometown. I live in America, but I have a little place, still and place in my heart in Germany, just where everything started. So the Wasteland Warriors, they came to us on stage in Wacken, and they're these cool, wild people. They build their own motorcycles, their own cars. They have these great outfits on. It definitely looks like Mad Max, you know. And then I wanted to put them in the video, and they were all excited about. So the video, it's a combination between a live footage from us when we played in Brazil, the legendary Monster of Rock Festival. We just did it beginning of this year, and then the Wasteland Warriors. And I think it came out pretty cool. And actually, we have another video in the making, together with the same people, and that's one of my favorite songs. It's Children of the Dawn. It's the opening song of the album, of this new upcoming album, coming out 27th of October, and the video will come out in the next couple of weeks, and I'm really excited about it. So we just filmed it, and the video director's just cutting it, so I'm excited. It's really cool as well, and not the same, but similar, like part 2,
Right.
It's time for justice. Time for you.
You mentioned your anniversary show, so the 40th anniversary show, which is interesting. I spoke just a few weeks ago to UDO, and he was talking about that show as well and how it inspired him for his ideas for his 50th anniversary show coming up. And I have a feeling that we might see you there.
Yeah, I don't know when this will be, but Udo was on stage with me in Wacken again. We have great friends, so if we can do it, of course I will be there. Sometimes Udo is not coming to the Düsseldorf show because he has something else to do, which but I'm sure we will find a way, and and I did many duets with Udo, so that's great. Actually, my first duet was on his album, Dancing with an Angel. That was on Man and Machine. And then I said, Udo, I have a nice song in the making. You know it. I know you know it. It's Breaking the Law. And then we did our first duet on this Judas Priest classic. And now I did 2 duets with Rob Halford. I don't know if you have songs. And, 2 duets. I'm in heaven. It's so awesome. I'm so grateful. And we were long-time friends. My very first big tour was actually with Judas Priest in 1986, and then this lifelong friendship, now comes full circle. Now we did 2 songs. One song is Living After Midnight, which there was a lyric video came out a couple of weeks ago. And one song is coming out when the album is coming out. That's 27th of October. And it's a great duet. It's a great song. It's total eclipse of the heart. And I think that came out so amazing. And, it's the metal version of that song. And
Right.
And we will do a video for that song as well. With Rob. Rob already filmed his part. So and I'm so lucky. I'm so blessed, I tell you. It's so
well, there's always fantastic energy coming from you. We know that from you. It's interesting because I think there's let's call it a famous interview you did with what was the New York journalist, I forget right now, but like 35 years ago in 1989, and they were asking you like, hey, you've toured with Judas Priest, don't you want to sing a song with Rob? And a 35-year younger Doro says like, oh yeah, that sounds great, that sounds like a good idea. And here we are 35 years later, finally, and two covers in one go.
Do you ever think of like asking Rob Halford to do something together? Or?
Oh yeah, why not? It would be a great idea. I think he has a fantastic voice, and I'm a very big fan of singers.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Oh, you remember that interview? Oh man, that's man. I'm such a lucky baby. My first tour with Judas Priest was in '86 and was my favorite band. And we did the legendary Monsters of Rock festivals, 2 in Germany and 1 in England, Castle Donington. And after that festival, everything changed. Before I hopped on stage, I went into Lemmy and he said, oh, don't I have a good show? And he said, are you nervous? I said, oh man, I'm so nervous. And then he gave me a big hug and he gave me a kiss on my forehead. And it was a wet kiss. And then I ran on stage and I could always feel this kiss. And I felt like $1,000,000. And then we did a great show. And then everybody said, okay, let's give this band a chance. And we hopped on tour with Judas Priest. And unbelievable. It's still to this day. And I grew up in the new wave of British heavy metal. And that was always my favorite album. That was always my favorite album. So it's, man, it's great. Life can be great.
You are somebody that actively chooses to focus on the positive. People that have followed your career, and I've had, some very serious conversations with you about it's not always great, or it wasn't always great, and you've had to overcome a ton of stuff. And I know that, you were working on an autobiography at some point, and then that didn't. That seemed like a bit of a challenge. Is it?
I had to stop it. I couldn't sleep at night because it was so, of course, there were great times, but then there were some really dark times, some, really not so good or evil stuff happened. So when I was thinking about it, no, I thought I rather want to concentrate on positive energy, going full force, do more great songs, records, concentrating on a great tour, concentrating on making people feel good and, feel positive. Making people happy. And then when you go to a really dark place, that doesn't go together. So eventually I will write a book, but maybe in 10 years from now, who knows?
Yeah. It's interesting because, from previous conversation, it was clear that some of those less than positive things also were, very tightly related to the fact that you were a pioneer as a girl in a very, male-dominated scene. And it took a long time for that to start to change. I sat down a few weeks ago with, I don't know if you are familiar with the band Crypta. They're a Brazilian death metal band. They're all girls. And so the drummer, Luana, who started her career like a little over 10 years ago, she still was saying, well, as I was getting started, there were no female metal drummers to be inspired by or learn from. Now that starts to change because we're seeing a lot more bands like Crypta, or bands where multiple members are female. It becomes less and less of an issue. I know that we're not there yet, but girls today can grow up seeing those inspirations everywhere. For you, that wasn't the case. I know you have to talk a lot about that and getting started, but I'd love to get your thoughts real quick on it took so long for that to change. It's like you started paving the way in the 80s, but then it didn't really change in the 90s. It didn't really change in the 2000s. It's really only in the last decade that we're seeing this finally change. Do you think about that? Has that been a surprise to you that it took so long?
You know what? I tell you, it's great that it's now much more balanced.
Right.
It was a bit lonely in the 80s. There were a handful of women doing it.
Right.
Rita Ford, Lee Aaron, Joan Jett, Girls' School, Rock Goddess, and that was about it. I'm sure there were many, many more girls doing it, but to just name a few. But yeah, it was lonely, and I never had like a role model. My role models, that was always the guys like Lemmy or
Right.
David Coverdale, Rob Halford, and but that didn't matter. I just wanted to do music, and I did whatever I could. And actually, I didn't even feel like that it was a big deal. I was just doing what I loved, and I was one of the guys, one of the band members, and I always got treated so good, I must say, by all like the bands we toured with, like for example, Priest or Wasp or Saxon Motorhead, Dio. They always treated me so good. I never felt, that I was any different, and and I always loved metal, rock and metal. And I always wanted to do it since I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
There was, when I started like listening to music, there was no metal yet, but it was one song which really got me. That was Little Richard Lucille, and it had so much power and energy, and he was so high energy. Oh my God, it was so unbelievable. And then I have to tell you this little story. I was doing, I was a big Kiss fan, and I had the great chance to work with Gene Simmons in 89, 90. And we recorded this album, was simply titled Doro. And I was staying in a hotel in LA, the Mondrian Hotel. And then one time somebody said, "Hey, I heard you are a big Little Richard fan. You grew up with his songs." And I said, "Yes." I said, "He's living right next over the street. There was a hotel. There was the Hyatt. Now it has a different name. And he's right there. Maybe you should tell him,
Yeah.
I was blown away. And then every day when we produced this album, every day I woke up and I thought, okay, today I go over the street, go to the hotel, tell Little Richard. He was one of my main inspirations. That's the reason why I'm now here. And every day, and I thought, no, I can't invade his privacy.
Right.
Not the way. And then I said, I do it tomorrow. And then the record was done. The record was done. I never told him, I never, knocked on his door, which then sometimes I think, man, I should have done it. But then I thought, no, maybe it's good because, I don't want to invade somebody's private.
Right.
Oh, it is. So, but honestly, he was the first influence, and that didn't matter that he was a guy or any women. I just followed what I loved, and but now it's great. And to my show in Düsseldorf, there are actually great ladies coming. Elisa of Arch Enemy, she's coming. She will be a guest. And Tarja Turunen, the ex-singer of Nightwish, she will come. And from Germany, the great band Beyond the Black, Jennifer Haben, that's another singer. So we will do something cool together. And that wouldn't have happened in the 80s. There weren't.
No, for sure.
But it's great. And to answer your question why that took so long, I really don't know, because metal, that's my whole life. And if you catch fire, then you will never not love metal or not want to do metal. So but now it's good. It's definitely, and beautiful talents, like great talented women, that makes other women feel good, and you can definitely look up to, great musicians and singers. That's actually, it is pretty cool. It totally is.
The joint starts flying when I begin.
One person that was on that journey sort of with you, I mean, you grew up together in the music industry in different sides of the metal world, with Sabina of Holy Moses. She's been on stage with you many times, obviously, as well. She's retiring now. She has her horses that she wants to spend time with. you've shared. I would make 20 more albums if I could. I know that you love animals as well, but is it also like because you just said like I caught the fire and that's all I can do? Is it also because there is no other life, or like that you don't have this whole other life that you run at the same time to fall back onto?
Yeah.
Is that part of it?
Yes. No, I'm thinking 24 hours about new songs, about the record, about the tour, about festivals. There's no other life. I grew up with horses, and I miss having pets in my life. I totally miss horses, so I can totally understand that Sabina, wants to take care of her horses. I totally can imagine. But to me, I made up my mind when I was 24. I was living for 25 years in Manhattan. One day I woke up and I thought, okay, today I wanna choose my priorities, and then it was very clear. I wanna live for the music, and then nothing else. And then it was okay. I'm so happy that I made that decision because before I thought, I want to have this, and I want to have pets and horses and dogs, and maybe I want to have kids, and maybe I want to have a husband, and maybe I want. But you can't. You have to make a decision. In my case, and that's the reason why I never married. I don't have any kids, but I have all the fans, and I feel like we are a big family, and I always feel so good in each and every country, in each and every city. That's definitely a dream, like doing music for such a long time. I didn't think that we would do it more than 5, 6, 7 years, and now
here we are. Yeah. Just a little bit more than 5 or 6 years. We talked about a few songs already, and I assume that those songs will appear in Setlist. I really hope to see Fire in the Sky on a Setlist, because I think it's one of my favorite Doro songs so far.
Super. Just last night, for this interview, I met my manager at a gas station, and he had the first copies there. He got, the record company sent the first copies, and I got it. And actually, it's like 2 vinyl. Actually, a lot of vinyl thing, but it's picture disc, which I'm still a big lover. I got them here, and that's the one, and of course CD, and and here's a nice history in it, like all these. Like starting out with actually James Hetfield and us. That was the first time we met, and Dio and Lemmy. You can see all these things, and it just came out. And actually, I just saw it, and that's the CD. It has 20 songs on it, and
there's a lot of music on the new album. There's a lot of it, yes, which is great.
You can see over the time. That was actually my very first band, Snakebite. That was in 19. That was my birthday in '85, and that's Lemmy in Castle Donington at Monsters of Rock, when he gives me a little kiss to make me feel strong and proud, and that's Metallica. I met him there. We played many times together in the early '80s. That's the reason why I recorded 4 Horsemen. I love Kill 'Em.
There's a lot on this album, and then that opens a problem for you when you're thinking about all these shows you're going to do. Because let's be honest, when people come to your show right now, whether they see you for the first time or they see you like myself, have seen you many, many times, people come to your show with a long list of wishes and songs they want to hear, songs of your bands back in the day, your solo stuff, covers, because you've released quite some covers as well over the years. In other words, you can never please everybody, and unfortunately, you probably won't be playing 8-hour shows anyways. So with all this,
that was easy, like 3-hour shows, easy. But now in most of the venues, there's always a curfew, so you can play 1.5 hours. Before there were no rules. You can turn it up like really loud and play 3 hours, and sometimes when it was fun I really played 3 hours, and now that's not possible anymore. So I always have to try to get the highlights in, highlight of Warlock stuff, the highlights of the new album, and I always make a nice mixture between old school metal and new songs. I'm really excited. I don't know which songs the audience will like from the new album. I just talked to the
I think that Fire in the Sky, like I said, I think is a really good one. I think a song that has to do really well live as well, and maybe a cool video as well, all for you in the future. Like that. I love how it starts. You think for a second, oh, this might be the power ballad of the album, but no, it's not at all. But do you? Like, what should we then expect when we come to see you soon? Like, I know that you're saying like, oh, I'm only just starting to think about set lists, but I'm sure that you have some understanding already of what's coming. So what can you share? What can we expect?
One of my favorite songs is the opener, "Children of the Dawn," which we just are filming another video. Children of the Dawn, and then of course "Time for Justice." We played it already many times. That was great. Yeah, and then I will let the fans choose what they like the most. There's one fun song on it. It's called "Lean Mean Rock Machine." Somebody is just doing a comic video. And I saw the first 50 seconds. It's so hilarious. It's so funny. But it will probably come out in a couple of months because it's so much work. And the guy said, hey, 1 more month. And we said, okay. So I will let the fans choose. Whatever they want to hear, I will do. And Fire in the Sky, I love that. Of course, I like all the duets, but when the duet partners are not on tour, that's probably tricky. But Living After Midnight, we played at the last song, like, in Wacken, and everybody was partying. I had so good energy. So, we'll see. I will let the fans choose. And
there we go.
Everybody's. My personal favorites are like the favorites of the fans, and only depending. Some people like it more heavier, more harder, more hardcore. Some people like it more soulful. Some people like anthems or ballads. Also, I like every single song so much, and so whatever they want to call out, especially in the encores, I always let the fans choose which encores we should play, and it's usually always. Yeah, and it totally aligns with my stuff and with what I like to sing or to hear.
Doro, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If only we found a way to tap into your energy and the world would no longer need oil or gas or what have you, because there's so much energy coming from you always. And I feel I could ask you 3 more questions and we could be here for another 2 hours. But I want to be respectful for your time. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to me. I'm super excited about the album, obviously, and all the celebrations for the anniversary. And I can't wait to see you on a stage again soon. So I hope we get lots of show announcements.
Yeah, the booker is just planning on all the festivals, and we have another festival, in the States, in Texas, in White Oaks. That's in March, I think, or February, March. And then we do a long tour, and we play festivals all over the world. So I hope I will see you, and I hope I will see all the die-hard fans.
The festival is Hell's Heroes.
Yes.
And I will see you there because I will be there. So maybe at that point we can catch up, not over Zoom, but in real life, it's a fantastic festival, and you're gonna.
It's the first time that I will play on it, but cool. When is it? When is it again?
End of March, end of March sometime, 20-ish of March, something like that. It's a 2-day festival, and it's really focused on like more traditional metal. So both older bands and newer bands, but all like the classic heavy metal, and it's really fun festival.
Yeah, my friends Sodom, they're living right around the corner in Germany. This is like unbelievable. So yeah, we will have a great time.
It's comparable to Keep It True, but bigger, warmer because it's in Texas, and also partly outside.
You know what? We always had great shows. Texas, I remember that very well. Like the fans in Texas, it was always sold out, all the clubs, and it will be good. And
it's gonna be a fun one.
And on many other festivals, wherever on this planet, and
Awesome. Well, Doro, thank you so much for sharing more about the album, also opening the door a little bit and talking about everything else, and being an inspiration not only for the girls but for everybody in the metal scene, no matter how old they are. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you in person.
Yes, thank you so much for your kind words. All the best to everybody. And yeah, keep on rocking, stay metal. And I'll see you very soon. And lots of love.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.